That ping on your phone wasn't just another meaningless alert. It was a winter storm warning. You've got 24 hours before it crashes into your neighborhood. Sounds like plenty of time, doesn't it? That's precisely what everyone assumes. They'll convince themselves they'll swing by the store tomorrow morning, fill up the gas tank after lunch, maybe pick up a few extra items if they think about it. Here's the brutal reality. By sunrise, the shelves are stripped bare. Bread, milk, batteries vanished. The gas stations mob like a war zone or completely dry with handwritten no fuel signs plastered across the pumps. Hardware stores? Forget about it. Every generator, space heater, flashlight, and snow shovel disappeared hours ago. And that's when it hits you. You waited too long. When the snow's hammering down sideways and the electricity cuts out, nobody's riding in to rescue you. That "I'll do it tomorrow" mentality everyone loves transforms into freezing, pitch-black regret. So this video isn't about casually thinking about prepping or dealing with it later. I'm laying out 12 brutal, specific actions you absolutely must take in the next 24 hours before opportunity slams shut. No filler, no hypotheticals, just concrete steps that will determine whether you're comfortable, warm, and prepared, or shivering in the darkness, cursing yourself for not starting earlier. If that storm notification just lit up your screen, stop what you're doing, because the next 20 minutes could legitimately save your life. 1. Transform your home into a water fortress. Do this immediately, the absolute first action when that winter storm warning appears. Forget groceries, forget equipment. Fill every single vessel in your house capable of holding water. Don't overthink this, execute it right now while you're listening to these words. Every second matters. When the electricity fails, and it absolutely will, your faucets might stop flowing entirely. People don't grasp how rapidly no water becomes a catastrophe. The pumps maintaining your city's water pressure depend on electricity. Once that cuts out, the flow halts. And if the mercury plummets far enough, pipes freeze solid, rupture, and suddenly even the most affluent suburb transforms into a third-world disaster zone overnight. Look at what unfolded in Texas during their deep freeze catastrophe. Millions without running water in under 48 hours. Toilets wouldn't flush, taps ran bone dry. People were melting snow in cooking pots just to rinse their hands. That's not prepared survival mode. That's pure desperation mode. And it strikes lightning fast. So here's your action plan. Grab every clean jug, container, thermos, bucket, pitcher, and bottle you possess. If it holds liquid, fill it to the brim. Your bathtub alone stores 40 to 50 gallons. That's your non-drinking water reserve for flushing toilets, washing dishes, and basic hygiene. For drinking water, you require at least 1 gallon per person daily, minimum 3-day supply. That's 3 gallons per individual. Got a household of 4? You're looking at 12 gallons minimum, and that's the absolute baseline. The intelligent approach is to double it, because you never know how long the infrastructure will remain crippled or when the roads become passable again. Don't make the catastrophic mistake of assuming bottled water from the grocery store will save you. By tomorrow morning, those shelves will resemble a locust plague aftermath. Use clean containers first. Rinse them thoroughly and fill them from your tap immediately while it's still functioning. Cover them, store them away from direct sunlight, and don't wait until the storm actually begins. Once the first ice starts forming on the power lines, your window closes. Having water means maintaining control. It's the difference between staying calm and spiraling into panic. When everyone else is melting snow in their bathtubs, you'll be sitting warm, hydrated, and prepared. 2. Power up everything, because darkness arrives fast. While you're filling those containers, your next move happens simultaneously. Charge every single electronic device you own. Phones, laptops, tablets, rechargeable flashlights, Bluetooth speakers, even those forgotten power banks collecting dust in your drawer. Everything gets plugged in now. People drastically underestimate how rapidly things go pitch black when the grid collapses. Your phone battery that cruises through an entire day in normal circumstances suddenly drains twice as fast when you're constantly monitoring weather alerts, messaging family members, or using it as an emergency flashlight. When the lights die, your phone becomes your absolute lifeline, not just to people, but to critical information. It's how you'll discover what's happening beyond your walls, whether rescue centers are operational or if the storm trajectory is shifting.
But that lifeline only functions as long as your battery survives. Once it's dead, you're completely isolated. And if you're thinking, I'll just charge it later, remember that later might mean no electricity for 3, 4, even 5 consecutive days. That's precisely what happened during major freezes across the United States. Entire neighborhoods abandoned in darkness with dead phones, 0 updates, and no communication whatsoever. So right now, while you still have functioning electricity, maximize every battery in your home. I maintain multiple 20,000 milliamp hour power banks fully charged at all times. Each one can recharge a phone 4 or 5 complete cycles. That's roughly 2 weeks of emergency phone usage if you're disciplined with it. But here's the critical catch. They're only valuable if you charge them before the outage strikes. Don't wait until the lights start flickering. Plug them in immediately. Even if your devices show 80% charged, push them to 100%. Every single percentage point counts when the world goes dark. Charge your laptops too. Even if you assume you won't need them, with the proper cable, you can transfer power from a laptop to recharge a phone multiple times. That's a power bank most people don't realize they already possess. Rechargeable flashlights, lanterns, emergency radios, get them all topped off. And one more harsh truth, don't rely exclusively on your vehicle to charge devices. If the roads ice over completely and you can't drive safely, running your car for power burns fuel dangerously fast, and fuel becomes liquid gold during a blackout. Charge everything inside while you still can. Every cable you own should be working overtime right this moment. When that storm cuts the grid power, you'll be grateful you did, because once it's dark, it's too late to recover. 3. Cash is king when digital dies. The third action, and execute it before the lines form, is hit the ATM and withdraw cash. Not when you're running errands later, not tomorrow morning, right now. Because once the grid stumbles, everything digital stops functioning. No electricity means no card readers, no online payment systems, no tap-to-pay technology. When the systems collapse, only one currency still functions: cold, hard, physical cash. During blackouts, stores that manage to stay open immediately switch to cash-only operations. Gas stations follow suit. And if you're one of the thousands who didn't plan ahead, you'll be standing there clutching a useless debit card while the person behind you purchases the last fuel container with a crumpled $20 bill. It's an undeniable truth. Cash equals options. No cash equals waiting, begging, and freezing. Even if ATMs still have backup power, they run dry shockingly fast during emergencies. The banks implement withdrawal limits to prevent panic runs, and by the second day, the machines are completely empty. During the Texas freeze disaster, people literally drove across entire cities trying to locate a functioning ATM. Most found absolutely nothing. The few individuals who had pulled cash early could still purchase supplies, negotiate trades, and even pay for assistance when others couldn't. So how much should you withdraw? As much as you can reasonably afford. My baseline recommendation, at least $500 broken down into small denominations, 20s, 10s, 5s, and 1s. You don't want to be handing someone a $100 bill for a $15 item because nobody will have change available. Cash also provides you leverage in emergencies. Need to pay someone to plow your driveway, get emergency firewood, secure a ride to a warming shelter? Cash talks. Digital payments don't. And remember, ATMs require both electricity and network access. If either or both fail, those machines become useless metal boxes. So go immediately, before everyone else gets spooked by the storm warning. Withdraw what you need, secure it in a waterproof envelope or sealed plastic bag, and keep it where you can grab it rapidly if you need to evacuate. When the world freezes solid, cash purchases survival time. It's not paranoid thinking, it's mathematical reality. The instant the grid hiccups, money in your bank account means absolutely nothing. The only thing that matters is the money in your hand. So go acquire it now before everyone else learns that lesson the hard way. 4. Top off every drop of fuel. Your next move is straightforward. Fill your vehicle's tank to absolute maximum capacity. Not halfway, not I'll grab gas in the morning. Completely full right now. If you own spare gas cans, fill those as well. Once a major winter storm alert broadcasts, gas stations transform into absolute war zones. Everyone suddenly realizes their tank is running low, panics, and within hours, every station in town is mobbed. By the time you arrive, you're staring at a 30-car line, or worse, an out-of-fuel sign taped across the pump.
And even if the station has gasoline stored underground, it becomes irrelevant when the power cuts out. No electricity means no pumps. That fuel might as well be on another planet. During the Texas deep freeze, the people who filled up the day before the storm arrived had mobility, heat, and options. Everyone else? They were stranded, freezing, and trapped in their driveways. That's what happens when you assume you'll get gas later. But here's what most people don't consider. Your car isn't just transportation. It's an emergency heater and a mobile power source. If your home loses electricity and the temperature inside starts dropping below freezing, your vehicle can literally keep you alive. You can sit inside with the heater running for 20 to 30 minutes every few hours to warm up your core temperature. As long as you're parked outside in open air, never inside a garage, it's perfectly safe. A full tank can provide you multiple warm-up sessions spanning several days. That's survival-level warmth when your home transforms into an icebox. And don't forget, your vehicle is a built-in charging station. You can charge your phone, flashlight, or even small electronics through the USB port or a power inverter. It becomes your mobile generator, but only if you have the fuel. Once your tank hits empty, all of that capability vanishes instantly. Fuel now means flexibility later. If the storm clears faster than anticipated, you can assist others, drive to safer locations, or reach a store that still has supplies available. But none of that happens if your tank's running on fumes. So before you even contemplate groceries or emergency supplies, fill your tank to the absolute brim. Gasoline isn't just convenience during a winter storm. It's power, heat, and movement combined. Without it, you're frozen in place, helpless. 5. Shop like a survivor, not the panicked herd. The fifth move, hit the grocery store, but execute it intelligently. Everyone else is going to panic shop, and you can identify them instantly. They'll be pushing carts overflowing with bread, milk, and eggs like they're preparing for a gourmet French breakfast. Don't be one of them. That's what everyone assumes they're supposed to buy before a storm hits. And that's precisely why those shelves empty first. But here's the brutal reality. When the power dies, everything perishable transforms into garbage. Milk sours within hours. Eggs are useless without a functioning stove. And bread won't sustain you when you're freezing and desperately hungry for real calories. You're not panic shopping, you're problem solving. Winter storms create 3 primary crises: no electricity, no heat, and no access to stores. So you purchase foods that directly counter those 3 problems. Start with anything that doesn't require cooking or refrigeration: peanut butter, crackers, beef jerky, canned soups, chili, tuna, and stew. Pop-top cans are your absolute best friend. No can opener required. Focus on calories, protein, and fat. The 3 elements that keep your body fueled and generating internal warmth. Forget salads, fresh fruit, or frozen dinners. When the power dies, they're completely worthless. Next, grab high-energy snack fuel. Items like granola bars, mixed nuts, trail mix, and protein bars. These don't spoil, they keep you functioning, and they require 0 preparation effort. During extreme cold, your body burns extra calories just to maintain core temperature. That means you need more food than usual, not less. Don't overlook water either. Even if your tap is still running, you're buying time and insurance backup. Grab several gallons of bottled water or a case of bottles. Aim for at least 1 gallon per person daily for 3 days minimum. It's not excessive, it's intelligent redundancy. And here's a professional move. Skip the crowd favorites entirely. Avoid the aisles where everyone's swarming. Go for overlooked staples, canned beans, instant oatmeal, dried fruit, powdered milk, or shelf-stable juices. They last practically forever and are rarely sold out first. Finally, think about psychological morale. When you're trapped inside for 3 consecutive days, comfort food genuinely matters. Grab coffee, tea, or chocolate. They elevate your mood and make the situation significantly more bearable. Don't shop like a sheep, blindly following the herd. Shop like someone who's planning to stay alive and comfortable while everyone else panics. Remember, the goal isn't to buy what others buy. The goal is to buy what still functions when the lights go out and stay out. 6. Lock down emergency heat before you freeze. Point number 6. Prepare your backup heat sources. Because once the power's gone, your house isn't going to maintain warmth for long. People assume their gas furnace will keep running. Wrong. Even gas heaters typically rely on electric fans or electronic igniters. When the power dies, your heat dies with it.
And when the outside temperature sits below freezing, your indoor temperature can plummet into the 30s within just a few hours. That's cold enough for hypothermia to set in, especially for children, elderly family members, or anyone in compromised health. You don't have to spend thousands on a generator, though if you have one, excellent. What you absolutely need is a non-electric heat source that actually works safely indoors. The best option for most people, a propane heater. Models like the Mr. Heater Buddy are genuine lifesavers. They're compact, safe for indoor use when properly ventilated, and run on those green camping propane canisters. Each canister provides roughly 3 hours of heat on high setting, or up to 6 hours on low. 6 canisters means a full day of warmth. 12 canisters means nearly 3 complete days. That's enough to keep a small room livable even when the outside world is a solid block of ice. If you can't locate a heater, improvise strategically. Layer sleeping bags, blankets, and even bubble wrap over windows to trap existing heat. Close off unused rooms completely and focus on heating a single core room, usually the smallest room in your home. The less cubic space you try to heat, the more effective your limited resources become. Now let's discuss safety, because this is where people make fatal mistakes. Never run propane heaters while you're sleeping. Never use a grill or oven for indoor heat. And never operate any heater in a completely sealed room. Carbon monoxide doesn't announce itself, it just kills silently. Crack a window an inch or two for ventilation. Yes, it allows in a little cold air, but it also lets you wake up alive tomorrow morning. If you've got a wood stove or fireplace, stock up on dry firewood immediately. Not tomorrow, now. Once the storm hits, stores sell out instantly or delivery stops completely. If you have an electric blanket, charge it fully while the power is still on. Even without active heat, that residual warmth can last hours if you layer up correctly. The point is simple and non-negotiable. You can survive without electricity, but not without warmth. A reliable backup heat source transforms a blackout from a life-threatening situation into a manageable inconvenience. Without it, you're at the complete mercy of the cold, and the cold shows no mercy whatsoever. 7. Defend your home from frozen pipes. Number 7. Protect your pipes before they destroy your house. This isn't a minor maintenance chore. This is what separates a rough winter week from tens of thousands of dollars in catastrophic water damage. Frozen pipes don't just stop water flow, they explode violently. And when they burst, your home floods from the inside out. During freezing storms, it's one of the most expensive and preventable disasters homeowners face.
When pipes freeze, the water inside expands until metal or PVC physically gives out. Once they thaw, water gushes through the rupture at high pressure, flooding walls, ceilings, and floors. If the main supply line bursts, it can dump hundreds of gallons per hour. Imagine dealing with that catastrophe while it's below zero outside, the power's off, and emergency plumbers are days from reaching you. That's not a problem you fix quickly. That's a nightmare you live in for months. So here's what you do right now before the temperature drops. First, locate your main water shutoff valve. Don't assume you know where it is. Go physically check. It's often in the basement, garage, or near your foundation outside. Make absolutely sure it actually works. If it's rusted or stuck, fix that immediately. The moment a pipe bursts, you'll need to shut off the water in seconds, not minutes. Next, focus on prevention. Open the cabinet doors under your sinks, especially those positioned against exterior walls. That simple act allows warm air from your house to circulate around the pipes. Then turn on your faucet slightly, just a slow drip from both hot and cold taps. Moving water doesn't freeze as easily as standing water. It's cheap insurance that can save you thousands. If you have outdoor faucets, disconnect every hose. Even frost-proof ones can trap water that freezes back into the line. Drain them fully and cap them with insulated faucet covers. They cost about $5 at any hardware store and can prevent a major break. For homes in older neighborhoods, wrap exposed pipes with foam insulation or even towels and duct tape if that's all you have available. In basements or crawl spaces, aim a small space heater if you still have power, or even an LED light bulb toward vulnerable pipes to keep the temperature above freezing. Remember this critical fact: when your pipes freeze, it's not just an inconvenience, it's the start of a devastating chain reaction. Frozen pipes mean no running water. Then comes the burst. Then comes flooding, ruined walls, toxic mold growth, and months of insurance calls and contractor disputes. Don't wait until you hear that distinctive pop sound. Protect those pipes today while you still can. 8. Lock in a family communication plan. Number 8. Get your family's communication plan locked down before the storm hits. When the grid goes down, so does communication infrastructure. You'd think phones would save you until the cell towers lose power or overload completely and stop working altogether. During massive freezes, even major networks collapse entirely. Calls don't connect. Text messages lag for hours or never arrive. Internet-based apps like WhatsApp or Telegram, completely useless when data lines are jammed. In a winter emergency, you cannot afford confusion or uncertainty. You need a plan everyone in your family knows by heart before the power fails. Start with the basics. Texting beats calling. Texts use less signal bandwidth and often squeeze through even when voice calls can't establish connection. Create a clear rule during the storm. Your family communicates by text message first. Keep messages short, simple, and factual. Safe at home, power out. That's all it takes. No lengthy conversations that drain batteries. The second part of your plan is an out-of-area contact. When local networks are congested, long-distance calls often work better. Pick a family member or trusted friend who lives far from the storm zone. Everyone in your family should know that person's number by heart. If you can't reach each other directly, you each check in with that person who relays updates between you. It's old-school methodology, but it works when modern systems fail. The third part is scheduled check-ins. During major outages, you don't want to constantly drain your phone battery trying to reach everyone repeatedly. Instead, establish a routine. Say every day at noon and 6 p.m., everyone sends a status message, okay? Or even just a thumbs-up emoji. That's sufficient to confirm everyone's safe without draining power or clogging networks. Also, print out key phone numbers on paper. Don't rely exclusively on digital contact lists. If your phone dies or breaks, you'll lose all of them instantly. Write down family contacts, emergency services, your out-of-state contact, and any local shelters. Put that list in your go bag and tape one on the refrigerator. If you really want to go next level, get a pair of inexpensive two-way radios, walkie-talkies with rechargeable batteries. They don't rely on cell towers and can reach a mile or more in most neighborhoods. They're not just for hobbyists. They're for when the modern system fails, which it often does during extreme weather. In short, plan now, communicate later. Because when everything freezes and the lights go out, you'll want certainty and coordination, not chaos and guesswork. Communication keeps your family together when everything else breaks down. 9. Pack your go bag and have your evacuation plan ready. Most people assume they'll just ride it out at home, and usually that works fine, but sometimes it doesn't. When the cold becomes unbearable, pipes burst catastrophically, or your house loses heat completely, staying becomes genuinely dangerous. If that happens, you don't want to start packing while your breath is visible indoors. You want to grab your pre-packed bag and move immediately. A go bag is not fancy prepper gear. It's basic survival logic. It's a backpack or duffel packed with everything you'd need to live for 72 hours if you had to evacuate on short notice. Start with clothing. 3 days' worth per person. All practical layers. Socks, underwear, thermal base layers, a hoodie or fleece, and a waterproof outer shell. Comfort doesn't matter. Warmth does. Pack for function, not fashion. Next, add copies of your most important documents in a waterproof folder. ID cards, insurance papers, property documents, medical records, and any prescriptions. If your home floods or burns, these papers become your proof of existence when systems are down and databases are inaccessible. Include cash, at least a few $100s in small bills. When the grid is offline, credit and debit cards are just plastic. Include essential medications, at least a week's supply per person. Rotate them regularly so they stay current and don't expire. Toss in basic toiletries, toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, and hand sanitizer. Small comforts that make a big difference in maintaining sanity and hygiene. Add a fully charged power bank and phone cable for each family member. If you have children, add one small comfort item per child, a stuffed toy, a favorite blanket, something that brings calm during chaos. For adults, maybe a small flashlight or multi-tool. These aren't luxuries, they're morale boosters when stress spikes dangerously.
Lastly, map out where you'd go if you had to leave. Maybe it's a family member's house in a different city. Maybe it's a designated community shelter. Maybe it's your vehicle if it's warm enough. Know the routes in advance and have your gas tank filled. See point 4. Print a paper map. GPS might not work if cell towers go down or your phone dies. When the storm turns from bad to dangerous, hesitation kills precious time, and in a freezing environment, time directly equals safety. With your go bag ready and your plan clear, you're not scrambling desperately, you're moving decisively. Preparation is what separates survivors from victims, so don't just hope it won't come to that. Pack your bag now. Know your exit routes. Be ready to walk out that door the instant it's time. 10. Insulate like your life depends on it. Let's call this what it is, the difference between freezing to death and surviving. Bonus point number 10. Insulate your home like you're sealing a spaceship. Once the power goes out and your heating system dies, the only thing between you and deadly cold is how well your home holds on to the warmth it already has trapped inside. Most people drastically underestimate how fast a house can lose heat. Within hours of a blackout, indoor temperatures can plummet into the 40s or lower, especially in older homes with poor insulation.
You won't even realize how bad it's getting until your breath fogs in the living room and your fingers go numb just sitting still. But the good news is, with a few smart moves, you can trap heat long enough to ride out even brutal winter nights. Start by targeting windows and doors, the biggest culprits for heat loss. Take plastic sheeting, the kind used for painting, or even heavy-duty trash bags in a pinch, and tape it tightly over every window. The goal is to create an air pocket between the glass and the room that dramatically slows heat escape. It doesn't have to look pretty, function over form always. Next, grab towels, old blankets, or even clothes and shove them along the bottom of every exterior door. Cold air seeps in frighteningly fast, especially through gaps. That little draft you ignore on normal days, it'll bleed your warmth out faster than you think possible. Now focus on your interior space. Pick one room, preferably the smallest one with the least number of windows, and transform it into your designated warm zone. Hang thick blankets or tarps over doorways to trap body heat inside that space. Move everyone into that room, and if possible, set up sleeping bags, mattresses, or blankets directly on the floor. The ground is cold. Layering insulation beneath you helps more than an extra blanket above you. If you still got power, crank the heat before the storm fully hits and trap that warmth by sealing off unused rooms. If the power's already out, use body heat and candles safely placed inside glass jars to add slight warmth. Don't use open flames without proper ventilation. A few people in a sealed room can raise the temperature by several degrees, and in survival situations, a few degrees can mean the literal difference between comfort and hypothermia setting in. Don't forget your attic and basement. Insulate water pipes and vents there too. Heat rises, and if your attic isn't insulated, you're basically letting all that warmth escape straight into the sky. You don't need fancy materials. Even stuffing old clothes or blankets along cracks makes a huge difference. One more trick: reflective survival blankets. They're cheap, they're tiny, and they trap heat like nothing else. Tape them shiny side inward on your walls or ceiling inside your warm zone. It'll reflect heat back into the room and create a cocoon of warmth. The truth is, insulation isn't glamorous. It's not as dramatic as generators or emergency gear. But when the temperature drops to single digits and the storm howls outside, you'll thank yourself for every draft you sealed and every blanket you hung. The people who survive comfortably aren't the ones with the most gadgets. They're the ones who built their own microclimate inside their home. 11. Stock up on heat even when the power dies. Bonus point 11 is about one thing: backup heat. You can have all the food, water, and flashlights in the world, but if you can't stay warm, you're not lasting long. Cold kills faster than hunger, faster than thirst. It creeps into your bones, saps your willpower, and clouds your judgment dangerously. So before the storm hits, you need a comprehensive plan to generate and conserve heat when your main system fails. Start with the basics: layered clothing. Forget fashion entirely. You want pure function. Thermal base layer, long sleeves, a sweater, and a windproof outer shell. The secret isn't in wearing one massive coat. It's in trapping warm air between multiple thin layers.
Cotton kills in cold because it absorbs moisture. Go with wool or synthetic materials that stay warm even when damp. Next, invest in emergency heating sources. If you've got a wood stove or fireplace, excellent. Make sure it's cleaned, properly ventilated, and stocked with plenty of dry firewood. Wet wood smokes more than it burns, and you can't afford to choke out your own air supply. If you don't have a fireplace, look into indoor-safe propane or kerosene heaters, specifically models labeled for emergency indoor use. These heaters can keep a small space warm for hours, but you must crack a window slightly for ventilation to avoid carbon monoxide buildup. Always keep a carbon monoxide detector nearby with fresh batteries. People have died from using outdoor heaters inside. Don't become one of them. If you have none of the above, create what's called a body heat system. It's low-tech but surprisingly powerful.
Bring everyone together in one room. Zip yourselves into sleeping bags or wrap up in heavy blankets and huddle together. Body heat is cumulative. 2 or 3 people close together can keep temperatures survivable far longer than one person alone. Now think about heat storage. Fill bottles or metal containers with hot water if you still have a gas stove or another heat source, and use them as makeshift heaters. Wrap them in towels and place them near your core, chest, stomach, feet. They'll radiate heat for hours. When they cool, reheat them if possible. Candles can help too. Not to heat an entire room, but to slightly warm a small enclosed space. A few tea lights inside a ceramic pot, a clay pot heater, can raise temperatures by several degrees. Again, use extreme caution and ventilation. Also, keep your body fueled. Your body burns calories to create internal heat. Eat high-energy foods, nuts, peanut butter, energy bars, anything fatty or sugary. Staying warm from the inside out is as important as external heat sources. Hydrate too. Dehydration worsens the effects of cold exposure. In the end, the rule is simple. Heat is survival. Have multiple ways to make it, store it, and keep it. Don't rely on a single source, because when one fails, you need another ready to go immediately. Winter storms don't care if your furnace is brand new. They only care how long you can endure the cold. 12. Prepare for the power to stay gone. Bonus point 12. Act like the power isn't coming back. Most people treat outages like temporary annoyances. The lights will be back in a few hours. That's a deadly mindset in a major winter storm. The reality? Grid failures can last days or even weeks. In 2021, millions in Texas learned this the hard way when sub-zero temperatures crippled the entire grid for almost a week. People froze to death in their own homes, not because they didn't care, but because they didn't believe it could happen to them. If you prepare with the mindset that power might not return for days, you'll survive far better than most. Start by managing your power like it's liquid gold. Every watt counts. Keep all unnecessary devices unplugged. Use flashlights, not open candles, for light. LED lanterns are efficient and last much longer on batteries. Next, protect your batteries and electronics from the cold. Cold temperature drains power frighteningly fast. Keep phones, power banks, and flashlights in your pockets or sleeping bag to preserve charge. If you have solar panels or a generator, test them before the storm arrives. Don't wait until it's 15 degrees and snowing sideways to figure out how to start your generator. Fuel is another critical issue. If you rely on a generator, stock up on enough fuel for at least 3 days. Keep it stored safely and outdoors. Carbon monoxide kills faster than cold.
Rotate fuel periodically to prevent degradation. If you don't have backup power, plan for life without it entirely. That means manual tools instead of electric ones. A hand crank can opener, battery-powered radio, and analog clocks suddenly become vital equipment. You'll also want a way to cook without electricity. A small camp stove or gas burner works great, but again, use it only with proper ventilation. Food safety becomes a major concern too. If your refrigerator loses power, it'll stay cold for up to 24 hours if you keep it closed. After that, transfer perishables outside if temperatures are below freezing. Label what's safe to eat and what's not. Food poisoning during a winter blackout is the last thing you need. Finally, prepare mentally. The darkness, the silence, the relentless cold, they wear you down psychologically. Keep your mind occupied. Read books, play cards, tell stories, anything that keeps morale high. Boredom and fear make people panic faster than hunger. When you prepare as if the lights won't come back, you make every smart move count. You ration heat, conserve food, preserve energy, and make decisions that keep you alive long after everyone else starts to panic desperately. So don't wait for the storm to remind you how fragile comfort really is. The power grid is one bad ice storm away from catastrophic failure, and when it goes down, it's the prepared who stay calm and functional while everyone else scrambles in the dark. Act now. Assume nothing. Be ready for the darkness and the cold. Because when that storm hits, it won't care if you were busy, if you forgot, or if you thought you had more time. It only cares whether you prepared or not. And that decision, that choice you make in the next 24 hours will determine everything. Don't wait. Start now.